Hey y'all, for today's video, I wanted to do one to talk about my advice for fixing death wobble on the Dodge Ram trucks. This is my 03 3/4 ton, and this truck is a death wobble survivor. So my goal with this video is to help people avoid wasting money and wasting time. So what I would do if you have death wobble, there's so many different things that could cause it, and it's such a safety hazard. Everyone's in a panic to get it resolved, understandably. But the key is to try to make some educated decisions. So before you even buy anything, come over and jack up your truck and grip your tire here and here, and try to move the tire towards the truck and away from the truck, like this motion. And if you get movement, your ball joints probably have play in them and are probably a suspect for your death wobble. But don't order the ball joints just yet. Next thing you should do is look at your tires, and if you see tread, there's a little bit of an example right here. You got a low point, high point, low point. That kind of indicates shocks a bit. This is a bad example because this tire is actually has a massive amount of miles on it, and the shocks are good on this truck. It's just that over a really long time we got a little bit of a chop there. But if your tires are really chopped up, consider the shocks to be a suspect for your death wobble also. And so finally, do some research on your tires. Figure out, are they E-rated? Because if they're not E-rated, that could be part of the problem. Your sidewall on your tires might not be supportive of your truck enough. Check out your payload numbers on the truck and consider, if you're close to needing a new set of tires, consider a higher payload tire, E-rated tire, that's known to have a stiffer sidewall. Like these Toyo MTs, really tough, stiff sidewall on these tires. So that's just one example. There's plenty of tires out there that'd be great options. So, based on what you conclude from those things, just store that information in your mind somewhere. And the next thing I would do is start with the cheap stuff. Come underneath. Let's see. Track bar. So there's your track bar end right there, where that bolt is. Track bar comes across from up there down to the knuckle on this side. So it goes from the frame to the knuckle. And inside each of those bolts is a bushing. And the track bar itself won't wear out, but the bushing could wear out. And it'd be a good idea to come in here and grip the track bar and see if you can get any movement. And if you have movement, this is a really common death wobble cause. So for 20 bucks, you can get new track bar bushings and install them in about an hour, if that, and your truck could be cured of death wobble. The next thing I would recommend doing is check out your steering linkage, your tie rod end, your drag link, and so forth. So this one here is the drag link. It's actually one of the tie rods. It goes out here to the passenger's tire. And then connected to it is the other tie rod, which goes to the driver's tire. And connected to that is your steering damper. Check out this whole steering linkage. If it looks like this, see how that bolt is parallel to the ground? And see how this steering damper is literally a bolt directly on the tie rod? This is called Y-style steering. And this is the older style that's more prone to death wobble. So if you still haven't cured your death wobble, consider upgrading to T-style. You'll need a new pitman arm and a new steering damper that connects to a bracket instead of this. I'll pause the video now and show a clip of me showing what T-style steering looks like, so you know the difference. Here I'm going to show you on the 09 what the T-style steering looks like. That where that tie rod end, tie rod connects to the drag link. Drag link's the one on the top. Bolts in, and you can see it's perpendicular to the ground, the bolt. And the steering damper here connects into this bracket. And that's the main differences between T and Y style. The pitman arm up there at the steering box is a little bit different as well on the T style, but this is the newer upgraded T style steering. Okay, so that would be the next thing to do, upgrade to T style. You'll also need a new alignment, but that's a good thing. We want to cross all T's and dot all I's and get the truck aligned and remove that from the list of suspects. So let's assume you did all of those things and you still have death wobble. This is where we come back to those tests that we did. The tires, the shocks, the ball joints. If you saw issues with any one of those items, that would be the one I'd replace, because at this point, those items are kind of expensive compared to what we've done so far. So we want to try to save money. There's an off chance that wheel bearings would have something to do with it, but I doubt it. It's far less likely than those 3 items I mentioned. So that's where you go from there. Choose the one that makes the most sense. If you got irregular tire wear, tires are all chopped up, your truck rides terrible when you hit bumps, do shocks. You know, if you got play in your tires, do ball joints. You know, if your tires are old and need replaced, try to upgrade them. So that's my strategy for you. Now for this truck and its story. This one had death wobble, and I just happened to need a new set of tires. So I ended up replacing the tires, and I went from, I'm not sure if they were D or E rated, but I went to a larger size and a definitely stiffer sidewall tire. And that alone cured death wobble. I never saw death wobble again. I drove the truck for about a year after that, and then I replaced a lot of my front end, did a front end rebuild. But for that whole year, after just replacing the tires, I was able to avoid death wobble. Another note is about your steering damper down there. This will not cure death wobble or cause it. So it can help suppress death wobble, and create the illusion of death wobble being solved. Say you go to dual stabilizers or a really nice single stabilizer like this one. That can make it seem like the death wobble is cured, but the root cause is never the stabilizer by itself. So you still have some defective part on your truck, and in the interest of safety, you're going to want to track that down. So that's just my thing on steering stabilizers. And then finally, while you're doing the bushings on the track bar, you might want to consider doing sway bar bushings and sway bar end links. They're probably not the culprit of death wobble, but it's worth looking at them while you're down here. So I think that's all the points I wanted to get to in this video. Hopefully you found this helpful. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video.